Okay, welcome to our very special club meeting today. If you haven't already done so, please change your Zoom panel to make sure it shows your first and last name and then the role that you have. And you can right click on your video and just select rename. Please also note that this meeting is being recorded, and I also ask you to mute your mic while you're not speaking. So today we're holding one of the Toastmasters' most exciting events, the speech contest. Can you believe that this is only our 8th club meeting and we're already at this level? Isn't this impressive? My name is Elena Kratenko and I will be serving as a contest chair today. First and foremost, I'd like to congratulate all of you on this fantastic event and an excellent opportunity to challenge yourself and improve your public speaking skills. Speech contests are a Toastmasters tradition. Every year, more than 30,000 Toastmasters compete at a club level around the world. Are you excited to join them? We'll be holding 2 contests today, table topics and international speech contests. Our first place winners for both contests will continue competing through the area, division, and district levels. The area contest is coming up soon. It's going to be on March 19. And for division contest, it's going to happen in April, and the district contest will be held in mid-May. The winner of the district level international speech contest proceeds to the region quarterfinal, then to the semifinals, and actually can join the best of the best at the World Championship of Public Speaking. As this is a new format to us, let me tell you more about the contest rules and agenda. First, we will have our international speech contest. We have 4 contestants who will deliver their speeches on product management topics of their choice. The speech should be between 5 to 7 minutes in length. After each speech, we will have a 1-minute break so the judges can take all necessary notes. After the last speech, we will have a 2-minute break so judges can take their final notes and pick a winner. We will pick 2 winners for the international speech contest today. The second place winner will receive a $10 gift card, and the first place winner will receive an opportunity to become a speaker at the well-known Women in Product Conference in May 2021. The second place winner will replace this person if she cannot attend. The second half of our meeting will be devoted to table topic speech contest. Because this contest does not require any preparation, I encourage those club members who do not have a role today to sign up now. No pressure, I'll give you some time to think about it, but I encourage you to challenge yourself and take on this opportunity. While you're deciding, let me explain the contest rules. After we randomize the order, I will ask everyone but the first contestant to go to our virtual break room. All contestants will be asked the same question, so it is fair. This is exactly why the break room is needed. Contestants will give a 1 to 2 minute answer, followed by a 1-minute judging time. Then our judges will pick 2 winners, and the second place will receive a $10 gift card. The first place will receive a $20 gift card. We have 4 table topic contestants so far. Does anyone who doesn't have a role would like to join the fun? Please raise your hand and I'm going to add you to the list. Don't be shy. There's still room. Anyone? Okay, I guess. Did I miss anyone? Come on, last chance. Okay, for the next time. So 4 contestants it is. Okay, so now I want to mention some other essential aspects. Dear speakers, if for some reason your technology fails, that happens, please don't get nervous. We can always get you back on track. As soon as you're ready, please come back and you can resume the speech at a point where the technology failed. I'm adding myself onto the chat right now, so you can just go ahead and text me if you have any issues, if you, I don't know, internet's not working or something's going on. So please save it. And I hope you don't need it, but just in case. Another thing is I ask everyone not to leave any comments in the group chat regarding the speeches until the winners are announced. And let's talk briefly about the timing as well. For the international speech contest, that is between 5 to 7 minutes, the green light will be shown at 5 minutes, the yellow light will be shown by timers at 6 minutes, and the red light will be shown at 7 minutes. For the table topic contest, where the speeches should be between 1 to 2 minutes, the green light will be shown at 1 minute, the yellow one at 1 minute and 30 seconds, and the red light at 2 minutes. And now I would like to introduce our club members with roles today who made this contest possible. Thank you for signing up at such short notice and contributing your time. Our timers today are Tanya and Jennifer. Round of applause. Our ballot counter today is Rupa. And our judges are Amy, Clara, Raji, and Ansu. And let's welcome our contestants. For International Speech Contest, welcome Svetlana, Lori, Erica, and Liz. For Table Topic Contest, we have Erica, Svetlana, Srimai, and Rosalia. And please help me welcome our Chief Judge, Rita Barber. Madam Chief Judge, please take it away.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Alina. And I must say, before we get started, Alina has done a superlative job of pulling this whole thing together, keeping everyone informed of what's going on. I mean, just such a professional in every way, shape, and form. Thank you so much, Alina, for everything that you've done. We really appreciate it. As your chief judge, I'm here to give you some finer points to the rules for you to remember. Now, we've talked about timing. For international speech, it's 5 to 7 minutes. There's a 30-second grace for international speech, 30 seconds on the front end and 30 seconds on the back end. In other words, if your speech isn't at 5 minutes, if it's all the way to 4 minutes and 30 seconds, you would still qualify. But if your speech went 4:29, you would be disqualified for being too short. On the long end, your speech can go up to 7 minutes and 30 seconds. That 30 seconds is your grace period. But if your speech went 7:31, again, you would be disqualified for your speech having gone for too long. As each speaker comes up to do their speech, we'll take a moment just to say, can you see your timer? Just to make sure that that speaker can see who the timer is. We mentioned something about a technology failure. Whenever there is a failure in timing or in our Zoom environment, some kind of a technology failure, you're given a 30-second extra grace on your speech so that you can compose yourself and better speak and do what you need to do. Your speech begins with your first utterance, movement, anything that is taking you into the speech. So let's say, as an example, you are there, you've just been announced that you're going to do your speech, and you do this. That is the first gesture towards your speech, and the timing starts there. On the other hand, if you come there and you just want to compose yourself for a second, which is a great idea to do, you just are composing yourself and you're not moving one little bit, your timing is not going to start until you move into that speech. Is that clear so far for everybody? And do we have any questions? Please feel free to ask any questions that you may have. Your speech needs to be original in nature. If you are quoting someone, you need to cite who you're quoting. If you're quoting a large enough passage, you need to say that too. And if you should not do that, then one of the contestants or a judge can complain that you've plagiarized. And those are the only people, by the way, that can complain, or another contest person competing or a judge. Those are the only two people. And then from there, we move forward and ask you about that, what happened there, that sort of thing, to see if it was actually plagiarism or just I couldn't remember the person's name, that kind of a thing. Are we clear on that too? All right, your room for moving is basically don't go off camera, unless of course it's part of your speech and you need to go off camera for just a moment and then you come back on. Otherwise, this is your room right here. When you start, please be sure that you know where the timer is so that we know that, in fact, Olina will ask you that question. Can you see where your timer is? And at that point, just let them know, yes, I do, or no, I don't. And we want to make sure you know where your timer is so that you are aware of your time. For the judges that are judging the speeches, please do not consider timing at all in your decision making. In other words, if you notice that the person, let's say, went on for 11 minutes, do not include that with your thoughts in terms of who is the best speaker. And also, we will want from the judges, we'll want a first, second, and third place. Not that that's what we're going to use in the final analysis, but so that we can count the ballots appropriately, we need you to give us more than just the first place winner. Is that also clear? Amy?
The rules said because there's only four, my understanding the rules said because there's only four people, we only select the first and second place. Is that correct?
So we
will
will
want a third.
Right. Okay. We will announce the first and second place winners, overall winners. But for you as judges, you would do first, second, and third place. So that
okay.
When we're counting the ballots, that's what we're looking at.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay.
And Rita, just to clarify the timing, so they should be looking for me during the international and looking for Jennifer during the table topics, or should they see both of us?
No, only one. You'll both be Tommy, but in the beginning it'll just be you, and then for table topics, who is it for table topics again?
Jennifer.
Got it. Okay. Now, remember how I told you that there's a grace period in international speech? Well, the one little difference in table topics is that there is no early grace period. You have to go at least 1 minute. If you went 59 seconds, you're disqualified. On the long side, you can have that 30-second grace again. You can go 2 minutes and 30 seconds and still qualify. But if you went 2:31, you would be disqualified. Is that clear? Okay, does anybody have any questions? Alina, did I cover everything?
I think you did. Thank you for that.
Rita,
Okay.
I have one question. So
Sure.
if somebody is evaluating our speeches for the international speaking competition for our pathways, are they just taking the notes on the evaluation form and then we talk about it offline, like after the meeting, or do they provide that evaluation during this meeting today too?
You would talk about it. Whatever arrangements you're going to make, you need to make them offline.
Okay.
You will not be doing the evaluation on there. And in the case where you're doing a general evaluation, in other words, it's not on a pathways project, my suggestion is that you go ahead and share that evaluation with that contestant and just make sure that the contestant knows that they can reach out to you for more details or whatever information. Okay. Anything else? All right. Well, it is my great pleasure to turn this over to our Toastmaster of the day. Everybody, please welcome back Alina. Alina, come on up.
Thank you. I think we're ready to move to the international speech contest, first half of our meeting. We have our 4 contestants, and to make it absolutely fair, I'm going to share my screen. And I hope you can see it. I have random.org here. And while you're watching me doing this, I'm just going to put 4 names here and click randomize. So you're going to know the order. Drum roll. Okay, our first contestant will be Erica Tambura. Second speaker, Svetlana Bazanyan. Third speaker, Liz Barnum. And the fourth speaker, Lori Edwards. Let me stop sharing. One moment.
Thank you, Elena, and welcome everybody to our first contest day.
Sorry, Erica, just one moment.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can't see.
Yeah, I need to stop
Erica.
sharing my screen. One moment. I can figure. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so our first speaker, Erica Tambura, building creative moments in your products. Building creative moments in your products, Erica Tambura.
Thank you so much, Elena, and welcome everybody to our first contest day. Every day I log into Facebook, hoping to see another beautiful otherworldly sculpture, flowing, bending, twisting, pulling feathers in blues, blacks, browns, and whites. In surprising, beautiful, and inspiring shapes. I had never dreamed that they had ever could be in existence. Kate Mcguire routinely creates objects that are soft, sometimes sharp, inviting, sometimes menacing. They are always surprising, always beautiful, and always inspiring. She makes me want to create. Now imagine if you had the power to inspire others to create, as Kate Mcguire does. What an impact you would have. What an inspiring leader. Hello, my name is Erica Tambura. I'm a multi-passionate woman in product, an engineer, and an artist. I live to problem solve and create. If I had $1 every time I bounced up to my husband and excitedly exclaimed, I have an idea, and got an eye roll, I'd be a very rich woman. Today, I'll focus on methods to help you build creativity into your work and share with you 3 examples from different phases of the design process that you might want to consider testing. But first, what is creativity? Is it imagination? Is it ingenuity? Inventiveness? Maybe originality? Vision? Have you ever stopped to think about what creativity means? There are numerous and very creative definitions of creativity, but for our purposes today, I'll use the following definition from Wiki. Creativity is a phenomenon whereby something somehow new, somehow valuable is formed, not to be confused with innovation, which requires implementation. In a world where we can be so very solution-driven, results-driven, it is creativity that allows us to truly shine. If you're familiar with the design process, there are 5 phases. Today, I have an example of 3 different phases, from the 3 different phases of design. My first example is from the first design phase, which you may be or may not be familiar with, which is planning, scoping, and definition. And the example is called the love letter and the breakup letter. This is an example of creative interaction that you can have with your users. What is it? It's a personal letter written to a product that often reveals profound insights about what people value from the object in their everyday lives. The person is instructed to write a letter to the product, either breaking up with it or falling in love with it. The result is a very personal letter by the user that builds empathic knowledge of the user experience. It helps us to understand moments of connection and moments of delight. So an example could be, Dear Verizon, it's time that we parted ways. Or, Dear Instapot, you have forever changed my life in ways I had never expected. The second example that I have for today is from the second design phase, which is exploration, synthesis, and design implications. And the example I have is word clouds, a creative interaction potentially with your team members. I'm sure you all are familiar with word clouds. It's a method by which information is visualized, and it organizes text-based content into interesting spatial arrangements. Given a text data set, words are arranged in font sizes based upon the frequency of use. The result is an interesting communicative artifact of frequently used words. Today's example is going to be the interactive part of our contest. And I am going to share with you an opportunity to create a word cloud with me. I put it in the chat box for you all if you would like to take an opportunity maybe later today. I would like to create a word cloud for the Women in Product Toastmasters Club. List words that would come to you when you think about Toastmasters, when you think about product management, when you think about our club. Let's create a word cloud together. The third example that I have today is from the third design phase, which is concept generation and early prototype iteration. And that example is body storming. It's an example for creative interaction with design teams, peers, or users. So you may have guessed it, body storming is brainstorming, but in physical experience. It combines role-playing and simulation to inspire new ideas and empathic, spontaneous prototyping. So how do you go about body storming? You use simple prototypes, immerse participants in user situations through loosely simulated context, and move through space and situations. The result is a realistic scenario of use with active design ideation, concept generation, and testing. So for example, how many times have you used an app and asked, did the developers actually ever use this thing? So many of our products are used actively. It would make excellent examples for body storming. A great quote from Ed Catmull, president of Pixar Animation and Disney Animation, from his book Creativity Incorporated, is that change is inevitable. Working with change is what creativity is about. All of us here are passionate about products that create change. I hope today that you have been inspired to use creativity as you create change for your users. Madam Toastmasters, fellow contestants, Toastmasters, and guests, thank you for your time and congratulations on hosting our very first club contest. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. Our second speaker, Svetlana, please get ready. Svetlana, can you see the timer?
Excuse me, Olina, point of
Yes.
order. We need 1 moment of silence.
Sorry. Yes, we do. Timers, may I please have 1 minute on the clock so the judges can take notes? Thank you, Rita. Thank you.
Okay. And Jen, also, Jen, please mute your colors. The only colors we should be showing are those that Tanya shares, while you will be taking time as well. We don't want to have like one color come up and then another one come up a couple of seconds later.
All right, I can do that. Thank you for that.
Thank you. So our second speaker. Before we listen to our second speech, I would like to mention that I encourage everyone to listen to the speakers carefully and take notes, because we will ask you to share your feedback later today. With this, speaker two, can you see the timer?
Yes.
Perfect. Svetlana Bazynyan. This is an experiment. This is an experiment. Svetlana Bazynyan.
It is about a week before the grand opening of a big, new, over-the-top gym in Hell's Kitchen, New York City. Me and about 20 other spinning instructors are ready to demo some presentations so we can get finally certified for a new immersive ride. We're all crowded in the spin room. The front of the room is covered with this sprawling floor-to-ceiling IMAX screen. In front of that, the instructor bike. Behind that, 50 bikes set up theater style with riders, instructors, staff there to evaluate us and to watch us do our demos. When it's my turn, I get on that bike, the lights go down, the screen behind me lights up, and then it's mic, music, action. As I start to ride, my heart rate elevates, kind of like now, blood pumping. I look out into the room and I focus. I have no recollection of what I said, but I know that I gave them cues. I reflected the effort they should be feeling, and I tried to lead and inspire for the 7 or 8 minutes that I had to present. Once I was done, my heart racing now with anticipation, I awaited my feedback. Svetlana, you have a very strong voice. The quality, tonality, the volume really generated this intensity and energy in the room. Make sure you continue to use this tool. As product managers,
Is it for everyone? Yeah, as soon as she comes back, we'll ask her to resume from the spot where she stopped.
So
We'll wait for a little bit.
I didn't stop timing right away though.
Right, you would not. You would continue timing. And then when we receive your timing sheet, we will deduct 30 seconds.
Whoa.
It's been more than that though.
Svetlana, you can continue from a place
Okay.
where, yeah, you talked about product management. Started talking about product management.
oh, okay. As product managers, we frequently experiment to suss out blind spots and understand more about the unknowns. But even before I was a product manager, I used experimentation to learn more about problems I was facing. One problem was feeling discomfort whenever speaking to big groups in my day job in a foundation. I knew that to become an effective leader, I would have to, and in order to lead, lead persuasively, inspire confidence in others, and you guys, I'm having issues. Inspire confidence in others, and achieve impact that I set out to achieve, I knew that I would need to master speaking publicly and storytelling. Today, I'm going to share with you the leadership lessons that I learned while setting out and struggling to deploy my voice. The first experiment that I tried was geared to test the hypothesis that by providing myself with the permission to speak, I would remove a barrier I often faced in my job. So I signed up for an acting class where you're generally given a script and you're obligated to speak. I found a great studio where they required 0 experience. This was perfect for me. Through our mini performances, each of us would go up on stage, and having never done it before, we would step into these characters while the rest of us would watch. And I was noticing that each of us would be using our individual selves, our individual quirks, humor, tempo, voice to perform our lines. Only when I'd watch others did I understand the value of those unique subtleties. When I'd receive feedback about a mannerism or an expression or the volume or my voice, I was always a little surprised. I suppose I realized that I had the qualities that were being highlighted, but I didn't think others could see or hear them. And so through this experience, I learned that yes, my voice has a unique value. And no, real life does not follow a script. And so no, you do not need external permission to speak. However, back at work, I was still not really closer to feeling more comfortable. It was time to run another experiment. I thought to myself that perhaps the skill to master for a real breakthrough is the ability to think on my feet so I can confidently communicate to groups even when I don't have all the information and the data. So naturally, to test this hypothesis, I tried improv. Boy, did I give it little credit before. There are techniques and forms and game to play, and the entire premise is about making decisions with very little information and communicating them confidently to your teammates so you can find and play that game. I was able to master improv, still not entirely comfortable at work. Around this time was when I discovered spinning, which became a real passion. I saw how coaches could inspire students with their voices. And so I thought that perhaps my next experiment would be to become an instructor so I can test the hypothesis that in order to inspire and influence, I had to start by sharing a passion. I've been successfully teaching for the last 7 years, and along the way have become a product manager and hopefully inspiring confidence in my teams. In my pursuit of becoming a stronger leader for my teams and to overcome my public speaking problem, I learned these important lessons that I've shared with you. 1, grant yourself the permission to speak. 2, communicate confidently through uncertainty and incomplete data. And 3, use authentic passion to inspire enthusiasm and compel confidence. You'll remember that feedback I got about a strong voice. At the end of the day, the solution isn't to be found only somewhere outside. It is also to finally embrace and deploy the strong voice you already have. This is an experiment. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Svetlana. Timers may have 1 minute on the clock for our judges. Thank you. Thank you. Our speaker number 3, Liz. Let me bring her on stage one moment. Liz, can you see the timer?
Yes.
Perfect. Liz Barnum, why introverts make great leaders? Why introverts make great leaders? Liz Barnum.
When you hear the words introvert and leader, do you think they sound like oil and water, but they don't go together? I'm here to tell you that introverts don't have to give up ambitions for leadership. In fact, they could have special superpowers that make them great leaders. So why should you listen to me? You may assume because I'm volunteering to be here today that I've always been comfortable in the spotlight. Let me assure you that is not the case. I was homeschooled up until 7th grade. Once I went to a real school, I avoided public speaking like Trump avoids taxes. I never raised my hand in class, and I tried to dodge every presentation I could. When I started my first job after college, I was a research analyst at a bank. It was the perfect job for an introvert. I spent most of my time hunkered down alone, writing research reports. But as I became more senior and my name started rising up on the research reports with my phone number listed, clients at hedge funds started calling me directly, and they would interrogate me about my work. This was my kind of hell. So I started screening my calls. My phone would ring, my pulse would race, my face would blush. With shame, I would cowardly look around the room to see if my coworkers saw me screening my calls. I soon realized this was completely unsustainable and started looking for a new career path. I learned about product management, and I was drawn to the idea of working closely with a team to build products together. I thought this could be safe from public speaking fears because there were no external clients. Boy, was I wrong. Once I started as a PM, I soon realized persuading stakeholders is a huge part of the job. So I dug in my heels and tried to overcome my fears. I first tried to emulate my boss, a jolly extrovert who looked and laughed like Santa Claus. This style just didn't work for me. I then tried avoidance, finding any excuse to not present in person. This also didn't work because doing everything over email was completely inefficient. I then had this visceral, humiliating experience that woke me up to the need for much more dramatic change. This was my Titanic of failures. I was presenting my annual roadmap to my CEO. He asked a few startling questions. I got rattled, and my voice started shaking with insecurity. My nervousness was making everyone in the room uncomfortable. The engineering manager of my team gave me the saddest look of pity. He put his hand on my shoulder to stop me from speaking further, and he took over the presentation. Let me restate this because it's important. My colleague had to finish a presentation of my work because my speaking anxiety was so distracting. My communication wasn't amplifying my work, it was suffocating it. I felt like my ambition to be a senior leader was slipping through my fingers. How can I progress if I can't even present my own work? After a lot of sulking, my inner voice asked myself, have I really tried everything to overcome this? This all happened during the holiday season. So when New Year's arrived, my recent disgrace was top of mind. I felt there was a fork in the road. Either I conquer my fear of leading in the spotlight or find a new career path where this wasn't a roadblock to success. I used the time-honored tradition of a New Year's resolution to pose an ultimatum on myself. Either I conquer this fear or I find a new job in the next year. In true PM fashion, I had a goal. Now I just needed an execution plan. I started my research by devouring books and classes on communication. I created a list of hypotheses that I could test. I used my coworkers as my experiment playground. And with this, I learned to read their body language and get feedback on what was learning. So here's what I learned from this rapid people testing. First, master the Q&A of a meeting with a technique called question stepping. So here I unpacked the question into its components and played it back to the question asker. So as an introvert, this gave me more time to process the question and to prepare an answer. And it also showed off my introvert superpower of listening. The second lesson is to exploit the formats that play to your strengths. I found that written docs sent as a pre-read allowed me to show off my strengths of precise language and analysis. The third lesson is to treat storytelling as a first-class citizen. I completely underestimated just how much preparation and practice great leaders put into public speaking. I'd assumed they were all naturals. This is fake news. I learned great leaders need to craft content, tailor it to their audience, and practice, practice, practice. From these learnings, I created a playbook of what tactics worked for me as an introvert. And I can tell you, small changes like these can have a transformational impact. I'm now competent enough at leading in the spotlight that I get volunteered by my team to present on their behalf. This is a stark difference from needing others to step in to save me from the stage. My big takeaway for you is you don't have to be an extrovert to be a great leader. Introverts have so many strengths they bring to the table. They may look different from leaders you see on TV, but they can be just as effective, if not more. So I encourage you, if you've ever questioned whether you have the personality to lead, stop asking yourself if, and instead ask how. Take charge of your growth plan and begin testing different tactics to see what works for your unique superpowers.
Thank you. Timers, may I please have 1 minute on the clock? Thank you. And Lori, our fourth speaker, can you see the timer?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Lori Edwards, Inspiring Innovation. Inspiring Innovation, Lori Edwards.
Thank you, Contest Chair, and welcome, fellow Toastmasters. I'm excited to participate in our first speech competition and look forward to you all joining me on a journey today to inspire innovation. If you will, I'd like everyone to close their eyes for a quick second and take a deep breath. In and out. Now, I want you to jump into your mind's time machine and go all the way back to yesterday. Because let's be real, you probably don't remember much before then anyways. You may have just got home from a long day's work or playing chauffeur, running errands, and a million other things in between. You set your keys down on the counter and you're greeted by these three famous words. What's for dinner? Your eyes burst open and you're probably thinking right now, ugh, not this question again. Why do I always get asked this question? I never know what I want for dinner. I solve problems every day, yet this problem haunts me every night when I get home. And some would argue it's actually the hardest problem to solve. Well, who says you have to solve it by yourself? And who says we can't use those same tactics we use at work to actually solve it? Today, I'm here to add some new problem-solving tools to your toolbox to help you solve this problem for good. And not just solve it with the same boring meals, but to inspire some innovative creations that your whole family will love. I know, it sounds way too good to be true, but today we're going to use design thinking to solve this problem once and for all. But before we jump in, what is design thinking? And why will this be the magical solution to our problem? According to the Luma Institute of Design, design thinking is an activities-based approach to creative problem solving that focuses on people above other factors. And by using this problem solving approach, we can do three things. 1, inspire others to think of innovative solutions. 2, give everyone a voice without even speaking. And 3, create a shared vision with actionable outcomes. All right, who's ready to solve this problem forever? This next portion of my speech is actually interactive. Therefore, if you haven't already, I would like you to open up the chat. Our first activity is called Statement Starters. This exercise empowers us to generate ideas as fast as possible about a specific problem statement in a predetermined amount of time. Since this speech is timed, I'm going to give you 8 seconds to think of as many dinner ideas as possible. They can be anything you had yesterday, you're craving, whatever comes to mind. All right, ready, go. Fire them off into the chat. Okay, stop. Congratulations, you just finished your first design thinking exercise. Easy, right? Now, let's look at those ideas. A lot of familiar ones, some interesting ones, maybe some repetitive ones, but overall not very innovative. All right, let's reach into that toolbox and pull out another design thinking tool to spice these ideas up a bit. This tool is called Designing with Lenses. It enables everyone to think about a problem from a different perspective. Now, with this in mind, I want you to put on your Disney lenses and think about the most magical place on earth. Everything is over the top, extravagant. Mickey's waving at you and you're instantly smiling ear to ear. Let's channel that Disney energy and try this again. You'll have 8 seconds to throw even the craziest dinner ideas into the chat inspired by these Disney lenses. Ready? Let's go. Okay, stop. Wow, look at those ideas. A lot more fun, definitely innovative. Some that I thought of was ratatouille, cocoa-inspired tacos. We got Mickey pancakes. This exercise can be done with any size group, large or small, and through any lens or perspective. By simply empowering your mind to think from a different perspective, you're able to create innovative ideas that might not have come up through traditional problem-solving techniques. In addition, everybody in this room got a voice to share their ideas without criticism, fear of failure, or judgment. We instantly created a safe space and encouraged unconventional thinking. In just a few short seconds, we generated several ideas, but we still haven't solved our actual problem. What is for dinner? This brings me to our third design thinking activity, visualize the vote. This exercise provides everyone with an equal voice in the potential solution, regardless of their title, rank, or experience. Every person gets 3 votes to choose their favorite ideas, and the idea with the most votes wins. It's an extremely simple way to get an actionable next step and build a shared consensus amongst the group. And there you have it. These 3 quick and simple activities are just a small fraction of the 36 Luma Institute tactics that they offer to discover, understand, and solve problems that focus on people above other factors. Therefore, when you're tasked with solving your next impossible problem, I hope you can use these design thinking tactics to inspire innovative solutions, give everyone a voice without even speaking, and create a shared vision with actionable outcomes. I encourage you to try this with your friends, family, or coworkers. Don't be afraid to add an unconventional perspective to your thoughts. Maybe try asking yourself, what would Elon Musk have for dinner? Or Gordon Ramsay, maybe Lady Gaga. The possibilities are endless, so let's keep inspiring innovation. Thank you. Back to you, contest chair.
Thank you, Lori. Timers, may I please have 2 minutes on the clock this time so judges can make their final notes and send their ballots to Rita and Rupa. Thank you. So now that we're done with the first half of our meeting, we will move on to the table topics contest. You might be
Excuse me.
asking, how
Point of-
about the,
point of
sorry?
order. Hi, sorry, point of order again. We need to collect all the ballots before we can move into table topics.
Okay.
So
Should
if
we wait?
everybody could
Mhm.
please submit your votes to Rupa and me. And once we have that all completed, Alina, I will turn it back over to you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rita, can I do the interview meanwhile?
No, we have to have silence until we collect all the ballots.
Okay.
Just go on and send those votes in, boys and girls. If you could send your ballots through chat, that would be great. And we need more than just first place. We need first and second, and preferably third too. But it looks like we're just getting first and second. And I think Rupa and I can take that. And to be clear, contestants do not vote, only judges.
I think we
Rita,
have
instructions were to email. Do you want in chat instead? It just emailed. Okay. I'll do both.
Thank you. And there are no ties, to be reminded also. Has anyone not submitted their votes?
I think we have all 4.
We've got all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So you must be wondering, when are we going to know the winner? But we will have the table topic contest first, and then we will announce the winners for both contests in the end. So with this, let's move on to our table topic contest. And today we will have 3 participants, Svetlana, Erica, and Srimai. Before we begin, let me just randomize the order. I'll share my screen real quick once again. And okay. So randomize. So it will be Erica, Svetlana, and Srimai. So Erica, you can stay in the room, and Srimai and Svetlana, I will put you into the break room, And I will admit you when it's your turn so you don't hear the question. And just so you know, the answer has to be between 1 to 2 minutes. And please don't leave the break room because you'll get disqualified. So just be there so we know that you didn't hear the question. Okay, Srimai, I'm going to put you into the waiting room. All good? And the same for Svetlana. One moment. Here we go.
And then I think you have to pin Jennifer because she's the timer. Right?
True. Now we're all set. Thank you. So can we please spotlight Erica? Erica, can you see the timer?
Yes, Jennifer, correct?
Yep. Now it's Jennifer. Lori, could you please help me pin Erica? Awesome. We're all ready. Okay. Erica Tambura, what advice would you give your younger self that is just starting their professional career? What advice would you give to your younger self that is just starting their professional career? Erica Tambura.
The advice that I would give myself that's just starting my professional career would be not to stop dreaming, not to stop being creative. What I did early in my career is I let some feedback by somebody that said, no, you can't do that way. You will do it this way. Stopped me from dreaming. And when you stop dreaming, you're not making your best work and you're not fulfilling your potential. So, dear young self, please don't stop dreaming. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. I'm going to admit Svetlana right now. Just one moment. Svetlana, welcome back. Lori, could you please help me pin Svetlana so she's on the screen?
She's joining in just a second. She hasn't
Gotcha.
come back yet.
I don't need to leave, do I?
No, you can stay for sure.
There we go.
Elena, do we get a minute to?
I'm sorry. Yes, please, timers, if I may have a minute on the clock for the voters. Oh, sorry, for the judges. Thank you for reminding me. Svetlana, just one moment. We're still having a minute for judges. Thank you. Svetlana, so all good? You can see Jennifer?
Yes.
Okay. So Svetlana Bezynyan, what advice would you give to your younger self that is just starting their professional career? What advice would you give to your younger self that is just starting their professional career? Svetlana Bezynyan.
Thank you so much. Madam Chair. That's a great question. I have been thinking about the various answers to this question, not really consciously knowing I was answering it, but especially over the last couple of years. And I have 3 pieces of advice that I would really heed my younger self to follow. The first is to try everything. Unfortunately, when I started my career, I had a very narrow scope of understanding of what career paths were available to me. Coming from an immigrant background, I really only knew about doctors, lawyers, computer scientists. I wanted to be a doctor. I was pre-med in college, but I didn't. Eventually, various changes in my life led me to the realization that actually I just felt like I was obligated to be a doctor, not something I actually wanted to do. And so I went on a path, trying to discover what it was that I wanted to do. But I got stuck a little bit in the legal field. So that first advice, I would have said, try everything, try more things. The second piece of advice would be to manage up, because that is something I didn't do enough of. Had I been more cognizant of where I wanted to go in my career, I would have been much more proactive in managing up to my bosses to ensure that I was on a path to success that I wanted for myself. And the third piece, which I already mentioned, is to not get stuck. When you see something, you feel it's not exactly 100% what you want, move on. And so those are the 3 pieces of advice I'd give myself. Thank you so much, Contest Chair.
Svetlana. You can stay in the room. I'm going to invite our next participant, Srimai. Let me see.
Have 1 minute on the clock.
Timers, please let me have 1 minute on the clock. Thank you, Rita.
Hello.
Sorry, Srimai, we still have 1 minute for the judges. I'll be with you in a second. Thank you. Okay, our third speaker, Srigiri Raju. What advice would you give to your younger self that is just starting their professional career? What advice would you give to your younger self that is just starting their professional career? Srigiri Raju.
Thank you so much, Alina. And what a wonderful question. I definitely had the conversations in my mind about what I would talk to my younger self multiple times throughout my career. And one thing I would say to myself is take everything easy, take everything easy. I remember my first job where I was so nervous to start. I was a just young college graduate out of school, working with all the experienced seniors, and trying to get anxious and nervous about if I'm going to do the right thing, if I'm going to speak the right words, if I'm going to gel well with them. Are they going to think I'm complete college student who has no idea about herself or her life? So when I go back and think about it, no one really cares or thinks about a person that way, especially a young student. So I would definitely, if I had to go back to talk to me, to give advice to my younger self, I'd say take it easy. Don't even concentrate on what others would think about myself, because that's going to impact the performance. So I just had to be confident, and then try to put forth my ideas and not be afraid of failure, in that way helping me to try new things. So that's one thing I would have told myself if I had to give advice.
Thank you, Srimai. Okay, judges, may I please have 2 minutes this time on the clock to fill, so judges can fill out the ballots and send them to Rita and Rupa. And yeah, Rita, please let me know as soon as you have the ballots. Thank you.
Judges, as soon as you've completed your ballots, please submit them to both myself and Rupa.
Thank you, Jennifer. I think we'll wait for a little bit so all the ballots are in.
I think we have all the ballots.
Have they all been submitted?
Fantastic.
Yes. I think one is on the chat and other three I received email.
Could you please submit your ballots on the chat?
Rita, is it okay for me to move on?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. With this, I'd like to introduce all of you to one more Toastmasters tradition, and that is interview with the contestants. So don't worry, contestants, nothing too difficult. I promise it's going to be a fun question. This is for us to just relax, inhale, exhale, and have a little bit of fun. So the question is, and this goes to all the contestants for the first and the second contest. We have 5 people. If you could travel to any place on the planet tomorrow, where would you go and why? Laurie, would you like to start?
Sure, I can start. I can highlight myself.
Thank you.
I would travel to Alexandria, Egypt. My last team was from Egypt. Most of them were from Egypt, I should say. And I would love to go and meet them in person. I worked with these people for 3 years. I feel like I really got to know them, but I never got to meet them in person. And that's something that I really want to do. As well as they have a famous gift they kind of give everyone. They get to ride a camel to the pyramids. So that's something I would love to do with the team. So that's where I would go and why.
That sounds awesome. Perfect. Yeah, Jennifer, maybe you can help me time it so we're not over a minute for the answers. Liz, would you like to go next? Where would you like to travel and why?
Sure. I think for me, I would love to go to Sicily, Italy, for a couple reasons. So first, I love Italian food, and they have this version of Italian food that is very kind of seafood oriented that I love. A second reason is their wine. They have, it's not as well known as maybe wine from Tuscany, but they do have this incredible wine that grows near a volcano of Mount Etna, and it kind of has this really interesting minerally quality to it. I've been trying it out in the last year or two and loved it, and so I want to visit those wineries in person. And the last reason is the history. There are all these beautiful ruins in Sicily because the Greeks were living on the island of Sicily in like 8th century BC. So there's all this incredible history you can check out. So those are the reasons I'd love to go there.
This sounds exciting. I hope you can go one day and send us some pictures. Srimai, please share where would you like to travel and why?
Sure. Thanks, Alina. So if I have to travel or if I have a chance to travel to a place tomorrow, that'll be the Amalfi Coast in Italy. I have been wanting to go there forever since my last Europe trip, and COVID happened. So, but I've been dreaming about it. So why would I like to go there? So I always imagine a picture of me sitting by a lake in a small table, drinking the European coffee and just relaxing, not worrying about anything, work, stress. So I just picture myself there with my dog, hopefully, which I know is not easy to take my dog there. So that picture kind of gives me the calm I need when I am in a stressful situation. So and also the life when I'm on vacation is so laid back that that picture is what wants me to go there when it's safe for us to travel again.
Yes, that does sound relaxing. Thank you, Srimai. Svetlana, please tell us where would you like to travel and why?
Sure. So I feel like I've been giving this answer for a while because it's been in my sort of dream plan world for quite a minute. It's Vietnam. I have traveled quite a bit, especially in my last job. So I've been to a lot of places in Europe, a lot of places in I've been to India even, but I've never been to Southeast Asia or East Asia. And so for me, while Vietnam is sort of the point where I'd love to start, I would actually also love to hop around a little bit. But main reasons, also food above all else, ocean a very close second, because I absolutely love the ocean, and the pictures I've seen from other people who have traveled are absolutely divine. So I don't know. I mean, it's an absolute dream. And finally, bikes. I'd love to ride around, and I know that there's a lot of cycling there. So that's where I'd go.
Awesome. Thank you. And Erica, would like to hear from you. What is your dream location?
Sure. I would love to travel back to London. London was the first international trip that I had ever taken, and it was just this wonderful, eye-opening experience. I had finally gotten out of the Ohio River Valley and wound up in this city that was just diverse. There were so many things going on, and everything seemed possible in London. And I would really like to go back there with my husband and experience it with him. Also, the artist that I talked about earlier today, Kate Mcguire, is close to there. And I've only ever seen her stuff online and through photographs. And I just can't imagine how beautiful her stuff is and provoking it'll be if I would actually get to see it in person. So I would go to London.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Well, that was a nice conversation. And now we're gonna be announcing the winners. But before I announce the winners, I would like to say thank you to our fantastic officers today. This contest would not have been possible without you. If everyone can please go off mute and give a round of applause to our two timers, Jennifer and Tanya. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. This is such an essential role during the contest, and thank you for keeping all of us on time. I would also like to express gratitude to our honorable judges. Let's give a round of applause to Amy, Clara, Raji, and Ansu. Thank you for taking on this critical role last minute. Not to mention that Amy and Clara had to learn everything on the fly. So very nicely done, ladies. And many thank you to our ballot counter, Rupa, who made sure that all the ballots are correct and the judging was fair. Kudos to Rupa. And last but not least, let's give a loud round of applause to our chief judge, our club mentor, and our inspirer, Rita Barber. Rita, thank you for your mentorship and thank you for your guidance. Thank you so much. Okay, ladies, now I have a final report from the chief judge in front of me. But before announcing the results, I would like to let everyone know that there were only one disqualification for the table topics. And I will start with announcing the table topic contest winners first. So the second place winner and a $10 gift card goes to Svetlana. Congratulations. And the first place winner and the $20 Starbucks gift card goes to Toastmaster Srimai. Congratulations, you're a winner. And please don't forget that there will be an area contest on the 19th of March. So now you'll have to participate, represent our club. And I'm pretty sure you'll do a fantastic job there. So well done. Now moving on to the international speech contest. I'd like to remind everyone that the first place winner receives an opportunity to become a speaker at the Women in Product Conference in May. So let's begin. The second place winner and $10 gift card goes to Lori Edwards. Congratulations, Lori. And the first place winner goes to, drum roll, Liz Barnum. Congratulations, Liz. Please join Srimai at the competition. Area contest is on the 19th of March. You delivered a fantastic speech. Thank you for that, and congratulations from all of us. And for me personally, congratulations to all of our wonderful speakers today. You're all winners because you won the battle with your fear of public speaking. And this is a struggle for millions of people, and too many just let it sideline them. And you decided to stand up and find the courage to make your voice heard. So well done. However, we're not done yet. I think everyone would agree that feedback is the key in Toastmasters. So let's help our international speech contest winner to succeed at the area contest and maybe all the way to the world championship. So I would like to ask everyone to give their evaluation as a 1-minute speech. We'll do a round robin. And there's a little catch to this. Please listen carefully. Please do your best not to repeat what has already been said by the previous evaluator. So you have to listen, and please try to make your feedback unique and therefore more valuable. And I encourage everyone to jump in. Speakers, judges, ballot counters, pretty much everyone. I know it's been a challenging meeting for some of us. So if you'd like to skip, just let me know. No pressure, that's fine. And timers, could you please time 1 minute for every evaluation speech so we're not over the time today. I'll be the first to share my feedback. Liz, this was a wonderful speech. And being nervous as a contest chair, you actually was able to put me at ease, and I got fully immersed into your speech. The pace was fantastic. It was engaging. It was just a pleasure to listen to. So thank you very much. And I think for the future and for the contest, I would really challenge you not to rely on your notes. But overall, I'm impressed how you're growing. And I couldn't even imagine that you're an introvert, to be honest, because with all the speeches you're delivering, they're just amazing. They're just flowy. They're very good. So I was really surprised to hear that. Thank you for sharing your story. It really empowers me personally as well. Thank you. And with this, I'm going to pass it over to the next speaker. I'm just going to do a quick round robin. So Erica, you're on my screen. So let's hear from you.
Yeah, Liz, thank you so much for sharing that. This was a very honest presentation. And I was just as shocked to know that you were an introvert as well. I loved how relatable it was, how honest it was. It was humorous. I'm so excited to hear you at the Women in Product Conference that's coming up. I think that maybe your use of space, you could think about a little bit more, to step back a little bit and be a little bit more animated. But it was a really fantastic speech. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today.
Thank you, Erica. Svetlana, would you like to share your feedback? Because you know how challenging that is to be a speaker.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. So for me too, I was particularly inspired by the jump you were able to make, and thought it was really helpful for you to sort of circle back on this toward the end of your speech, which was the jump from needing a colleague to sort of take over a presentation and help you finish, to then now being nominated by your team to make presentations on the regular. I think that is something that for me personally is just incredibly empowering and inspirational to hear.
I think absolutely sort of being a little more animated and rely, I mean, I'm not allowed to repeat, but yeah, perhaps being a little more animated and engaging with the audience a little more could help bring that message even more deeply into all our bones. Thank you.
Thank you, Svetlana. Lori, you're the next on my screen, so let's hear from you.
Perfect. For me, again, it was a great speech, as everyone mentioned. The one piece that I liked a lot, and I think will go far in the Women in Product Conference specifically, is that it was extremely relatable. Relatable for everyone starting their career, getting to that senior level, and then maybe even beyond that. So I think keeping it relatable will really have a huge impact on that audience in that. The one piece that stood out to me that I really loved is that you said it was suffocating your work. Your speaking was suffocating your work. And that was a very good descriptive word that just instantly brought you to this vision of like, oh, I've totally crippled myself before because I can't present it. So other than that, I think the one thing you should keep doing is be confident. You are very confident in your speaking and it shows. And I think, as we all mentioned, we all want to have some of that confidence. So I think just carry that with you and take us to the finals.
Thank you, Lori. Emmy, you're next on my screen. Would you like to share your feedback today?
Sure. Wonderful speech, Liz. I really enjoyed it. I loved that you had some bits of humor in there, and your word choices were really great. Like Lori said, about suffocating your work, and as well as unpacking, something about unpacking the question. My notes aren't great, but I thought those were really great word choices.
Thank you, Amy. Clara, you're next. Would you like to share? Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Liz. I thought your speech was great. Like a lot of people said, I thought it was very relatable. And then the empathy that you brought with your speech was amazing. You gave that story about that time you were overcome with fear, and that just really struck a chord with me and drove me into your speech more. And I liked how you transitioned from storytelling to actionable steps. So it was definitely a takeaway for the rest of us to learn. One thing I think might help is maybe take out some of the politics in the beginning. I don't know who our audience might be, so just in case, that might be something good to think about.
Thank you, Clara. Rupa, I can see your video, but I really hope you can join us. Oh, here you are. Okay, would you like to share your feedback?
Yeah, thank you. So nothing much. I thought it was a fantastic speech, and it was really relatable because as an early career PM and new to public speaking, it's really sometimes you think, is this really the right path for you? But I think your story has really reinforced that you can change and like step up to the challenge. So that was really great. Otherwise, I really didn't see anything that needs to be improved. So congratulations.
Thank you, Rupa. Where is Tanya? I can't see Tanya. Did she?
She had to.
Oh,
Yeah, she had
okay.
to drop.
Okay. So Namrata, would you like to share your feedback today?
Yeah, definitely. Apologies, I can't come on the video, but I appreciate your understanding on that. To me, I think what everyone said does resonate, and without repeating that, I would say for me, the wording that you used around storytelling as first-class citizen was just out of this world. It was amazing, just the usage of that. And even how you emphasized on certain aspects, you took a pause and you emphasized certain aspects when you were talking, which was amazing. And I could clearly see the journey end to end when you were describing it. So I would say, especially as you're representing us in the international contest and the conference, those are the parts that, you know, if you can have those emphasis and the journey, helping your audience visualize it, that would be amazing. So best of luck.
Thank you, Namrata. I see that we have some guests here today. Shalini, would you like to share your feedback about the winner's speech?
Hi. Yeah, I loved your speech. It was very good and I instantly connected with it. And actually, your speech gave me a lot of insight into introverts, how they are, and you helped me understand them better. Um, one thing which I think everybody has said to you already is mostly like have more eye contact with the audience to engage them. Otherwise, your story is really good. It's too good.
Thank you, Shalini. Jennifer, I think you'll have to time yourself for a minute. Would you happen to have some feedback?
Yeah, I really loved your speech, Liz, and I thought that you did a great job. And like many people, I'm going to repeat because I'm the last or one of the last. You did a great job in painting the picture. You told your own story and also emphasized it. I particularly liked the tactical things that you did. And then the piece that really resonated with me is being able to sit down, take ownership of what your own learning path would be. And I think that is something that is really admirable because each of us has a fear, and you were able to take that and bundle it up and decide for yourself what's that tactical piece that you're going to use going forward. So great speech. I think the only things that I would say to keep aware of is, you know, your positioning in terms of the camera. Oftentimes your name, I don't know if it's like a Zoom thing, kind of blocks a little bit of your face. So just be aware of your positioning. And then also, you know, as other people had mentioned, try not to speak quite as much from your notes. But otherwise, great speech, Liz. I really loved it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you. With this, I'm going to ask Raji if she has any feedback. I know it's the toughest, like couple last spots. You can't repeat anything that's been already said. So here's a challenge.
Yes, that's quite some challenge because all the things have already been said, but I would still cheat a little bit and say the same thing over again, that it was a really good speech to listen to. I liked the way it was structured. And the most interesting part for me was it was a very personal story, and your title and the premise of the whole speech was something that most people can relate to, and nobody really talks about it. So that makes it really unique. So I think that's a star point for your speech. Overall, as everybody mentioned, just make it more animated and such that the audience feels way more involved because it's a virtual space. So utilizing that box of Zoom completely to the maximum extent will probably help you have a better impact and use your time well on the stage. So that's all the feedback I have.
Thank you, Raji. And Rita, if you'd like to wrap up and give us your feedback, that'd be great.
You bet. Number one, this is a project that you should just keep with you. You never know when you are at the fly having to speak, and you will always have people in the audience that will appreciate and be thankful for a speech like that. Two things to look at doing. Number one, pay attention to where the camera lens is, because that's your eye contact. The entire time you were doing your speech, you were looking at us really, which I love, but they're going to be looking for eye contact. So make sure that you're looking at the camera lens itself. The other thing is I would look at a little bit of vocal variety. There are some places where when you're sharing parts of your story, you can go a little bit faster or maybe even a little bit slower, whichever is really more within your character. But I would look at doing that, because then it gets the audience up and paying more attention at the different times that you do something differently pace-wise. But otherwise, great project.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you, everyone, for the feedback. And with this, let's move on with our meeting agenda. We're done with the contest. Congratulations, everyone. It's our first contest, and I think it went really well. So thank you, everyone, for your help, all the participants, everyone with the role. We did a good job on this, so kudos to us. And now I'm going to pass the stage to our president, Erica Tambura, so she can talk about our club business. Erica, take it away.
Thank you, Elena. What a fantastic job you did pulling everything together. I want to thank you one more time I'll probably thank you 20 more times. Every month I pick a theme, and the theme for this month is bravery. And you were brave, and you were like, I'm gonna make this contest happen, and you did, and it was fantastic. So thank you. And thank you to all the contestants who were equally as brave. It's what we're here. We're here to try new stuff, and we're doing it together. And we also heard a number of very brave stories today too, that hopefully everybody found inspiring. So thank you all for being brave. And if you don't have the book, Brave Not Perfect, and we're here to practice and be brave, and thank you all for that. We have a couple of announcements. But first, I do want to welcome our guest today, I'm sorry, I've lost you on my view. My view changes quite frequently.
I'm here.
So there you are. Thank you for joining us today. It was a little bit of a different meeting than what we usually have, but hopefully you got a taste for what the club is all about. And if you have any questions after we wrap up the meeting, I'd love to stay on and chat with you and see what you're looking for, and if our club is something that you'd be interested in. Okay. One quick announcement is that club dues are due. I always laugh at that. Club dues are due by March 1st to Liz. So if you don't have them in yet, if you don't mind sending them over to Liz so she can get us all situated and ready for that part of the business. We did add $5 for fees to be used for contests winners in the future. So total fees our dues are $50 for the next 6 months. As Elena mentioned, the area contest is March 19th at 6:30. And Rita, will we be able to go to the contest and watch it? She's muted, but I saw it. Absolutely.
Absolutely, you got it.
Thank you, Rita. So if you guys would like to go support our winners, I think that would be a fabulous thing to do.
In fact, they'll probably be looking for a couple of volunteers as well. So keep your eyes and ears open for that too.
Actually, I think Svetlana is volunteering. And I'm not sure if we had Lori raised her hand, so I don't know if Lori is.
Even volunteering for the contest as well as going and attending other contests might give the speakers a good idea about how other clubs are doing as well.
Very good point. Thank you, Raji. Okay, our next club meeting is March 14th. And during that meeting, we will be joined by Jifang Zhu, our District 101 Club Growth Director, who will be performing a charter ceremony and officially welcoming our club to District 101. And the last topic of business today is leadership roles. We've had a couple of leaders that have had to step down, and we most certainly thank them for everything they've done for us, helping us get up and running, get the club started. Everybody has done a phenomenal job, and we really appreciate everything that they've done. So we have a couple of roles. We have VP of Membership that Svetlana is interested in volunteering for. We are very excited that Svetlana is interested in that. So we want to do a quick vote today and also open it up if anybody else is interested in VP of Membership. Speak up and we can do a vote. Is there anybody else that's interested? Okay. So we'll do a quick vote and vote for Svetlana for our next VP of Membership. Thank you so much for Svetlana for volunteering. Since Svetlana is taking on that role, she would like to hand off Sergeant at Arms to somebody else to get the experience of leadership and opportunity to help lead our club meetings. Is there anybody today that would like to volunteer to take up Sergeant at Arms?
May I say just one thing about SAA?
Yes.
If you think that you're just a little bit shy about speaking still, or you feel like your butterflies are not flying in order, you might want to think about being SAA, because you regularly practice opening the meeting and getting things going. So it's a great way to change that paradigm for yourself.
Okay. Let's see. I don't want to put anybody too on the spot. Maybe that one we can give people a little bit more time to consider. Let Svetlana do it for another meeting and talk offline. Okay. And then we have VP of Education that has opened up. And Elena, who has done a beautiful job with the contest today. One of the tasks that the VP is in charge of is the contest. And Elena is very interested in taking on that role. Is there anybody else that is interested in VP of Education? Okay, so we can vote for Elena to be our new VP of Education. Welcome, Elena, and welcome, Svetlana. Well, yeah. All right. And next I will hand it off to Elena, who will talk about the meeting roles for the next couple of meetings.
Yeah, no, we're kind of running out of time. We had a very long meeting today and it's Sunday, so I'm pretty sure you guys have things to do. So I'll share my screen real quick, and we will start assigning roles for at least 2 meetings in a row. So please have a look. We have roles assigned for the 14th of March as well as for the 28th. We'll be sending out this list as well, so you can see the agenda. If you can't make it for some reason, please let me know. Otherwise, these are the roles, and you can see the topics for the meeting on top. Any questions? If not, then yeah, we'll be sending an email out with the agenda for the 14th. And for the 28th, we'll have only 2 speakers as well. We will have a guest speaker, and she's going to walk us through the Pathway project. So we're all on the same page and we know how pathways work to make the most out of our digital materials that Toastmasters have to offer. Okay, that's pretty much it. Yeah, if you'd like to sign up for the roles, please email me. I think the best way will be to just email our general inbox, and we'll take it from there. With this, I really thank everyone for joining us today. Our first contest went well. Congratulations, everyone. Congratulations to the winners. And yeah, the meeting is adjourned. I'm going to pause the recording.